Brian Jackson. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the 100 days of the 2023 National Electrical Code Changes series. We're still in Article 555, which covers marinas, boatyards, floating buildings, and docking facilities. We got a couple of more things to talk about, and the first one is 555.15, equipment replacement. This is a rather unusual change. I actually like it, but I'm usually hesitant about changes like this. Here's what it says. All right, 555.15 equipment replacement. Replacement equipment is now addressed. Okay, so the way the code works, you go back to Article 90.2, the scope of the code, and it says, look, the code covers the installation of conductors and equipment. What you install needs to comply. So, if you are removing something and installing something, then your installation needs to comply. That's just the way the code works. That's what Article 90 says. Now, do you have to go back and update existing equipment every 3 years when they change the code? No, because again, 90.2 says the code covers the installation of conductors and equipment. If you're not making an installation, you don't read the National Electrical Code. It's an installation standard. It doesn't cover maintenance, right? Because that's what NFPA 70B does. So how do we deal with existing situations? And if we can just kind of take off our code purist hat for a minute, and sometimes that's hard for me to do. Sometimes we need to just kind of step back and say, look, maybe the code doesn't cover existing installations, and maybe it doesn't cover maintenance and upkeep, but you know what? It's really, really important. And nowhere is it more important than around a marina and a boatyard. Look, people are getting killed, okay? Electric shock drowning is a very real issue, and it's something we need to take very seriously. When you take electrical equipment and put it near the water, particularly near salt water, that equipment is not going to last forever. So how do we deal with existing installations? Well, it says modifications or replacements of equipment must comply with the NEC. Yes, that is true. That's true whether this section says it or not, because 90.2 said it. But let's keep reading. Modifications or replacements of equipment must comply with the NEC, but the entire circuit needs to be inspected. All right, so if I'm replacing this equipment, this is a marina power outlet, I don't need to replace the entire circuit, but I do need to at least inspect it and make sure that it's safe. I think that's good code language. Damaged equipment must be documented and be repaired to comply with the code requirements that were applicable when the equipment was first installed. Look, if you have damaged equipment, you need to fix it, especially in these scenarios. Now, how far do we want to go with that? You know, we would love to tell you to make it comply with current standards. And you know, if you can, maybe you should. But that's not always in the cards. So if you have damaged equipment, we need to make it safe. At least as safe as it was when it was first installed. Now, if you want to go the extra mile and make it comply with modern day requirements as it relates to electrical safety, I think that would be great. And perhaps maybe you could convince the owner of the facility that it would be not only in the best interest of them, but also of the people using the marina or the dock. You know, maybe you can convince them and have them spend that extra money and get modern equipment and have it comply with today's standards. But worst case scenario, if you're replacing equipment, you need to replace it with code compliant equipment. If you have damaged equipment, then you need to at least repair it so that it complied with the standards applicable when it was first installed. And when you're making replacements, you need to at least inspect the entire circuit, make sure it's not going to kill anybody. Remember, when it comes to marina power outlets like this, where is the circuit that's supplying that marina power outlet? It's not going overhead, right? It's under the dock. Truth of the matter is, it's in the water, more likely than not. If it's a floating dock, it certainly is. Even if it's a fixed pier, though, a lot of times the PVC conduit or the cables underneath the dock, the support hardware has corroded, and those wires are there in the drink. So we need to at least inspect the existing wiring and make sure it's not going to injure or kill somebody. So please don't mess around when it comes to the marina, boatyard, docking facility, etc. These things need to be taken very, very seriously. All right, we'll see you on the next video.